Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, two big strikes, the storm on the move, and bringing homes for the holidays. Holiday strikes. 11,000 workers at over 500 Starbucks stores set to walk off the job. This as some Amazon workers strike in the heart of the holiday delivery rush.
There's no job security within the warehouse right now, and there are little to no benefits in the warehouse right now for us to be able to take care of our families.
What it means for workers and customers.
Who will see a white Christmas? This morning, the winter storm moving to the northeast. Minnesota declares a snow emergency. Salt trucks out in force in Wisconsin. All this on what's expected to be the busiest air travel day before Christmas. Plus, bracing for the Arctic plunge this weekend.
Car seat recall. More than 600,000 child seats affected. What the popular brand is saying this morning.
CEO murder suspect returns to New York City in court facing federal charges that could lead to the death penalty after being transported under heavy guard. Aaron Katersky and Dan Abrams break down what's next.
New details this morning on King Charles, his cancer treatment, and the latest on his condition.
Game Changer, the newly cleared device that can help people with spinal cord injuries. Will Reed spoke with one of the first patients to use it.
Touchdown. One teacher's Hail Mary to help young Eagle fans fly. Answer with an early Christmas gift from Kylie Kelsey.
Plus, the tiny gifts making a huge difference and bringing homes for the holidays.
We also had something that could impact airport security, military families, federal workers, so much more. The potential government shutdown is just hours away. We're tracking the latest on that. First, the two holiday strikes at two of the best-known companies in the country. Some workers are walking out at Starbucks this morning. Amazon workers are on the picket lines at some facilities as well. We're covering both. Trevor Ault starts us off from one of the Amazon facilities here in New York. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, George. So the picketers are back out here in Queens. This is one of several strike sites outside Amazon facilities across the country. And while Amazon says their delivery schedule has not been disrupted, these demonstrators believe they can cause issues at a critical time for package delivery and force Amazon to meet with them at the negotiating table.
Hey, ho, ho! Corporate greed has got to go!
This morning, delivery drivers for Amazon on strike with less than a week to go before Christmas and Hanukkah.
We don't have any Christmas presents under the trees this year because the wages, the hours that we get working for Amazon just simply aren't enough to get by in today's economy.
The drivers picketing outside 7 facilities.
There's no job security within the warehouse right now, and there are little to no benefits in the warehouse right now for us to be able to take care of our families.
From California to Georgia.
Most of us wouldn't be here if we didn't like the job, right? We're just asking for you to meet us in the middle somewhere.
To New York, where 2 people arrested and given a ticket for disorderly conduct at the demonstration in Queens. The strike is organized by the Teamsters Union, hoping to pressure Amazon for better benefits, higher wages, and safer working conditions.
We're trying to hit Amazon where the pocketbook will be most felt.
But Amazon doesn't recognize the Teamsters as a union representing their employees and says it won't negotiate with them. Amazon also saying in a statement, what you see here are almost entirely outsiders, not Amazon employees or partners, and the suggestion otherwise is just another lie from the Teamsters.
Christmas is on track, and we fully expect to be able to fulfill our delivery promises for our customers.
So there are a few dozen delivery drivers who are here on the picket line. You also see these Amazon vans are loading up with packages right now, and they're going to continue to head out. There are some barricades set up by police to make sure that they can go unimpeded. Amazon is steadfast that their customers can still count on those holiday packages being delivered in time. Michael?
I know for a lot of people that's great news there, Trevor. Thank you so much for that. And now to the workers at some unionized Starbucks stores walking off the job this morning. Morgan Norwood is at a Starbucks here in New York. Good morning, Morgan.
Yes, Michael, good morning. 11,000 unionized baristas at more than 530 Starbucks stores going on strike at company-owned stores in Los Angeles, Chicago, Seattle, your major cities, after negotiations broke down. Now, their union hitting the company on the final weekend of the holiday shopping season, walking off the job later today. Now, while this strike will begin with a relatively small number of stores, the number will grow over the next 5 days of escalating strikes. Workers say Starbucks backtracked on an agreement about future organizing and fair pay. pay. The latest offer from Starbucks offers a 2% wage increase and a guaranteed 1.5% increase in future years. A union saying that's simply not enough. Starbucks claims the union prematurely ended a bargaining session this week, saying in a statement, "We're ready to continue negotiations to reach agreements. We just need the union to return to the table here." Rebecca?
All right, Morgan, thank you. We turn now to Capitol Hill and lawmakers racing to avert a government shutdown ahead of a midnight deadline. There had been a bipartisan deal to keep the government running, but President-elect Trump came out against it. And last night, a deal backed by Trump failed to pass. Our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl, is tracking the latest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Rebecca. In a way, Donald Trump got exactly what he wanted, that bipartisan spending bill that had been negotiated for months by Republicans and Democrats went down, but so did the bill that Donald Trump wanted to replace it.
Overnight, President-elect Donald Trump doubled down, saying there will be no deal unless Congress extends or eliminates the debt ceiling. This after an 11th-hour deal backed by Trump failed badly on the House floor, as a whopping 38 Republicans defied him and voted against it.
The bill is not passed.
That Republican deal would have temporarily funded the government through March and provided $110 billion in disaster aid. It also meant a last-minute Trump demand, raising the limit on how much the government can borrow for 2 years. But more than 36 Republicans refused to go along with it. Before that happened, Congress had been poised to vote on a spending deal with bipartisan support. That is until Elon Musk, the world's richest man and increasingly one of Trump's closest advisors, started attacking it earlier this week, arguing it was filled with wasteful spending. Then Trump weighed in with an entirely different demand: to raise or eliminate entirely the so-called debt ceiling that limits how much money the federal government can borrow. Lifting that debt ceiling would make it possible for Trump to borrow and spend more when he becomes president. As President-elect Trump told me, if we don't get that, then we're going to have a shutdown. This morning, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is gearing up for another round of negotiations.
You've reached a new agreement?
The looming shutdown comes as an estimated 40 million Americans are expected to fly this holiday season. Any extended shutdown, the TSA administrator warns, could mean longer wait times at airports. And with funding running out at midnight tonight, millions of federal employees are wondering if they'll go without a paycheck just before Christmas, including military families like Kayla Corbett's. She's an Army spouse who runs an organization that helps military families find childcare.
Especially at the holidays, this is just not what our families want to be thinking about when they're already really struggling to get by.
It's entirely unclear what's going to happen next. As Donald Trump made it clear when I spoke to him yesterday, he doesn't want to see anything passed that doesn't also raise the debt ceiling, raise that limit on government borrowing. He reiterated that message overnight, and the vote last night made it clear there just aren't the Republican votes to do that, at least not now.
And John, this intense focus on the debt ceiling is really about delaying or keeping from happening future battles.
Well, Donald Trump knows that the government is going to hit its limit on spending, is going to hit that debt ceiling early next year, just as he is trying to get through his 100-day agenda. And if the debt ceiling isn't raised then, there could be dire economic consequences. As he told me when I spoke to him, that it could mean a 1929-style depression. He wants to get this off the table, get it taken care of now, so that he can pursue his agenda in the beginning of his administration without this hanging over it.
All right, John, thank you. And the stock markets are certainly paying attention to that as well. George?
Okay, Rebecca, we're going to turn now to the winter storm and its impact on early holiday travel. Take a live look at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport right now. Expected to be the busiest travel day of the year. We start with Alex Perez in Madison, Wisconsin. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, George. The snow is piling up here in Madison and across parts of the Midwest. This storm is expected to create problems for many through the weekend.
Overnight, a winter storm on the move from the Midwest to the Northeast on what's expected to be the busiest air travel day before Christmas. Minnesota declaring a snow emergency after more than 6 inches of snow falling, this semi-truck jackknifing. plows out trying to keep up with the conditions. A ground stop issued at the airport due to the weather.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm thinking that there's probably going to be a delay, but maybe we'll get out since we're early.
This car struggling to get traction, then giving up and backing down. Salt trucks out in force in Wisconsin, miles of roads and highways proactively treated with a liquid brine. People pitching in, doing their part to keep sidewalks safe and cleared.
I just see the sidewalk, some people working, and I see someone a little bit about to slide.
Plows in Fargo working to clear the interstate.
And this snow is now moving east, and it's expected to be followed by an Arctic blast of cold air for many. George?
What does this all mean for holiday travel?
Well, George, the TSA says today is expected to be one of the busiest days at airports this travel season. In fact, the three busiest airports will be Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Denver, with the most crowded times coming between 8 a.m. and noon. Experts say the busiest highways will be I-95 southbound near Washington, D.C., I-5 southbound south of Los Angeles, and I-75 northbound between Orlando and Gainesville. The worst times to drive are between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. today, and tomorrow between 4 and 8. As far as gas prices, according to AAA, they are expected to keep dropping, in part because of colder weather and more people working remotely. The national average could drop below $3 for the first time since 2021. Gear up because it's going to be a busy travel holiday season. George?
Okay, Alex, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, you heard it. I-95. We're going to turn to gender with the forecast and possibly a white Christmas for the I-95 corridor.
I mean, it's like Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance, you know? It's
they're saying there's a chance.
It's 6 days out, but yes, there's a storm coming. It's just where that rain-snow line's going to set up, which I will get to. But let's start with where we know there is snow this morning, Chicago. You've got the slick roads. You've got that little dusting of up to an inch or so more in the suburbs. Vicksburg, Michigan, so in Kalamazoo County, the roads are covered. And so that little system's kind of going through the Great Lakes, and now it's going to head to the northeast. You will get some lake effect snow bands in parts of Indiana, Ohio behind that. But look what happens. This is this afternoon. We're getting snow here this afternoon. It is going to be light, but it will be impacting I-95. So if tonight were Christmas Eve, I'd say, yep, you're good to go. It's just not. So we're looking at the airports having some impact too. Upstate could be 3 to 6 inches. Then the serious cold comes in. We're talking single-digit temperatures for a lot of people, teens for Washington, D.C. And then that next storm comes in, and it looks like the rain-snow line's right along New York and such. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. All right. So it's not the most
Pretend
annoying.
Tonight is Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all. Thank you, Ginger. Now to the latest on the mystery drone sighting. The FAA is taking action. It imposed a ban on drones over parts of New Jersey and New York, and Ariel Reshef is here with the details. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Rebecca. After weeks of those reported sightings in the Northeast, overnight, the FAA taking the unprecedented move of shutting down airspace to drones over parts of New York and New Jersey due to special security concerns. The ban is meant to police the skies above critical infrastructure. It will last through most of January. Stretches of both states are now considered national defense airspace. The drone ban over President-elect Donald Trump's Bedminster Golf Club has also been extended through the end of January. Officials warn that flying a drone without government permission in these areas is illegal, and authorities may use deadly force against any drones that pose an imminent security threat. Anyone piloting a drone in the restricted area without permission could face federal charges. The Department of Homeland Security saying again it has assessed that there is no threat to public safety or national security. Officials say these bans are simply a precautionary measure. George.
Good to know, Carol. Thanks very much. We're going to get the latest now on the health of King Charles as he continues his cancer treatment. Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pennell is at Buckingham Palace. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, George. A royal source telling ABC News today that King Charles is going to be continuing with his cancer treatment into next year, saying that it's a managed condition. The source also adding that the treatment is heading in a positive direction and that King Charles will continue with his busy schedule too. Obviously positive signals. He's been very visible this Christmas season. He's even out and about again today with the Queen. This is their last engagement before the holidays. The King announcing his cancer diagnosis back in February, of course, when it was discovered during an operation on his prostate. He hasn't disclosed the the type or stage of his cancer or the sort of treatment that he's been receiving. But I think it's worth noting that prolonged treatment isn't unusual for quite a few forms of cancer. Of course, it's been a tough year for the royals, with both King and Princess Kate diagnosed with cancer. Princess announcing in September that her treatment had ended. I can tell you there are thousands of well-wishers out here today wishing the King and the Queen all the best for the holiday season. Michael?
All right, Ian, thank you so much for that. We're going to turn now to the families that are still recovering from Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. Well, this morning, they're getting a helping hand, and Lara is here with what that is. Good morning.
Happy to bring this story. Good morning to you and to you all. Hurricane Helene hit western North Carolina in September, and the area is still recovering from the widespread damage. Now, as we head into the holidays, Lowe's has stepped in to provide some relief to those who are still rebuilding there. The home improvement company partnering with local builders to help make the holidays a little brighter, delivering tiny homes ahead of Christmas. And it was a special delivery, NASCAR haulers, guys, taking those homes to their new owners. A real team effort here. The Home Builders Association of Greater Charlotte, Habitat for Humanity, and Advanced Roofing and Exteriors have all been working together to build the homes over the last week, with more set to be delivered today. The goal being to donate 100 tiny homes to western North Carolina. And these homes make a huge impact in a community that still needs so much help, guys.
That is great.
Great story.
Really great.
Thank you, Lara. Coming up, the new developments in the United Healthcare CEO shooting. The suspect now faces federal charges that could lead to the death penalty. Aaron Katersky is going to break it down.
Plus, the newly cleared device giving hope to Americans with spinal cord injuries. Will Reeve is here to tell us all about the game changer. Hey, Will.
Hey, Michael. This new device has the power to change daily life for people with spinal cord injuries. And coming up, you'll learn what it does and meet this woman whose story will inspire and move you.
Just remarkable, Will. Also ahead, what you can do before you take off and even before you get to the airport to make traveling easier. We have just 5 shopping days left before the holidays. You guys done?
Never started.
We're going to help everyone, including these guys, when we come back.
Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this for my kids.
Welcome back to GMA. Parents and kids are in dance mode this morning with brand new Big Bluey news that is coming up in our next hour. We are very excited for it.
We are. We're also finding a lot of headlines right now, including the delivery drivers at Amazon who are on strike with less than a week to go before Christmas and Hanukkah. It's organized by the Teamsters Union. Workers are picketing outside 7 facilities. Also, 32 more cases of salmonella related to tainted cucumbers have been reported. That brings the total to 100, including 25 people who were hospitalized. Several companies have recalled whole and sliced cucumbers provided by a grower in Mexico.
Also right now, more than 608,000 child seats are being recalled over fears debris could enter the front harness adjuster and cause it to fail. The affected products are Nuna Baby Essentials Rava child seats, manufactured between July 2016 and October 2023. Nuna says they'll provide owners with a remedy kit free of charge. And the first ever 12-team college football playoff kicks off tonight. Number 7 Notre Dame hosts number 10 Indiana in an in-state showdown. It's the first of 4 big games this weekend, and you can see it right here on ABC at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Hoosiers.
Let's go.
We're gonna see it.
All right, and we got a lot more ahead, including the spinal cord injury game changer. Will Reeve is going to tell us about that. That is coming up later in the show, George.
Right now to the man accused of murdering the United Healthcare CEO. He arrived back in New York and now faces federal charges that could lead to the death penalty. Dan Abrams is standing by. First, senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky here with the latest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. Luigi Mangione is waking up this morning in federal custody, actually at the same jail housing Sean Combs. It was his last stop after a day of court appearances, aircraft rides, and a long perp walk under heavy guard.
It was a whirlwind day for the accused killer Luigi Mangione, starting in Pennsylvania, where police loaded him into a van and drove him to the airport for a flight to New York. A helicopter delivered Mangione to Manhattan, shackled and surrounded by an entourage of officers. New York Mayor Eric Adams there waiting.
This act of terrorism and the violence that stems from it is something that would not be tolerated in the city.
Mangione appeared in Manhattan federal court where prosecutors charged him with stalking and murdering United Healthcare chief Brian Thompson. If convicted as charged, Mangione would be eligible for the death penalty.
We're going to respectfully decline to make any comment at this time. Mr. Mangione appreciates everyone's support.
Outside courts in New York and Pennsylvania, small groups of people carried signs of support for the suspect, but to prosecutors, what Mangione allegedly did was an act of terrorism.
It was targeted, premeditated, and meant to sow terror.
Prosecutors said Mangione's handwritten notes express hostility towards the health insurance industry and wealthy executives in particular. In one passage, Mangione allegedly wrote, "The details are finally coming together. The target is insurance because it checks every box." Prosecutors said the notebook describes an intent to whack the CEO of one of the insurance companies at its investor conference. The criminal complaint includes images of the suspect traveling to and from the scene of the crime, one walking while wearing a gray backpack, another riding a bike toward the Hilton Hotel. Despite the evidence, Mangione's supporters are not wavering.
And in court, Mangione answered yes to a few questions. Otherwise, he appeared rather subdued. We saw him in civilian clothes. A federal marshal carried a brown paper bag containing his orange jumpsuit. Mangione faces charges in state and federal courts. His attorney called that very confusing, highly unusual, and George signaled Mangione will fight every charge he faces.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much for bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Dan, several experts have raised questions about this terror charge.
Yeah, so this is a way to get first-degree murder in New York State. Typically in New York State, if you murder someone, you'll be charged with second-degree murder. Here they're trying to elevate it to first-degree murder. There wasn't the killing of a police officer, which would typically be the kind of first-degree murder charge. But if it's also in connection with an act of terror, you can charge with first-degree murder. The challenge is going to be being able to prove that that was the motivation.
So is that where the writings come in?
Yes, and so they'll use the writings that he did. But the question becomes, was he trying to coerce the civilian population fearing into fear? Or was he doing it to punish United Healthcare and the insurance companies? And that actually may end up becoming one of the legal issues that's argued in this case. What exactly was he doing it for?
How about his lawyer's point that this combination of federal and state charges is unusual?
Well, what's unusual here is it almost seems like there's a competition between the feds and the state prosecutors here as to who's going to get to try him first. And typically you have much more coordination between the two, where it's clear, okay, the feds are going to go first or the state's going to go first. Here it almost feels like there's a race to who's going to be able to get him to trial first as to who's going to get the first shot.
Who wins the race?
Whoever gets to trial first. So it really, and typically federal courts move faster than state courts. So if you were asking me to bet, I would bet on the federal case moving faster, but we'll see.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. Now to a new device just cleared by the FDA that could be a game changer for the roughly 300,000 Americans with spinal cord injuries. Will Reeves sat down with one of the first patients to use this new spinal stimulation technology, and he's here with more. And Will, good morning to you. I know this story is near and dear to your heart, my friend.
It is, Michael. Yeah, it means a lot to me personally as the son of a man with a spinal cord injury, and I know that being able to regain any movement is a massive development for a person with a spinal cord injury, and that's what this device showed it can do. It brings back certain mobility, and with it, a new level of freedom and hope. And in one terrible moment, the woman you're about to meet lost her parents, her ability to move, and she thought her future. But now the future is here.
This morning, a breakthrough for people living with spinal cord injuries.
This is one of the most meaningful steps I can think of for the spinal cord injury community, and it works. And it gives us hope.
Based on the results of a pivotal trial published in Nature Medicine, the FDA announcing it has cleared a spinal cord stimulation technology from Swiss company Onward. The device, called ARC-EX, helps paralyzed people regain some mobility in their arms, hands, and fingers, and freedom. Freedom to go from this to this.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
So ARC-EX is simply electrodes attached to the skin on the back of the neck. It runs all the time, and it makes it easier for people to move. We found that the majority of participants improved strength, sensation, and hand function to a significant degree.
Jessie Owen was paralyzed 12 years ago when a tree fell and crushed the car she was riding in with her parents. ARC-EX now offering her life-changing possibilities.
What can you do now that you couldn't do prior to this?
I can paint with my hands now. I can open a jar of peanut butter. I could feed my kids because the amount of function I had in my hands changed. It wasn't, perfection, but it was enough to make meaning in my life.
What hope does this device provide to you?
The future of spinal cord injury treatment is being written right now. This is the moment, and this provides the hope and the stepping stone to start that journey.
And full disclosure, I am a board member of the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, which has partnered with Onward, the makers of this device. The ARC-EX will be available in some rehab clinics early next year, and they'll continue to ramp up production to get it out further. And in mid-2025, Onward hopes for FDA clearance to get this into people's homes. And guys, progress in spinal cord injury research is usually measured in decades, so this is a long time coming, and to be able to say this is here and is getting out to people who need it is a big moment.
There have been a lot of advances lately. Huh?
Yeah, technology is really accelerating everything, most of all hope.
And we're happy to see that.
Yeah.
Such a hopeful message. Thank you for bringing it to us, Will. We really appreciate it. Now on GMA, helping you with the big holiday rush. Finding airport parking that's easy, affordable, and safe can be a serious challenge this time of year, but Eva Pilgrim has some simple strategies and reminders. And Eva, it's great to see you. Around this time at Thanksgiving, people were talking about all these car thefts at airports. Where does all of this stand?
Oh yeah, in the rush to make your flight, you now also need to think about making sure that your car is safe. Some things to keep in mind. First, lighting. Check to see if the lot or garage has good lighting. We always say this, but make sure you put your valuables away, your windows are up, doors locked. If you can park close to a booth or an elevator, that's also a good tip. And find out if the location has 24/7 security. That could make a really big difference this time of year.
Definitely it's busy. So how do you ensure you get a parking spot?
Yeah, it's really busy. First, you have to decide what's most important to you, parking at the airport or saving money. If you're willing to park off-site, there are websites that offer cheaper parking near many airports, like SpotHero, Way.com, and GlobalAirportParking.com. Pro tip: hotels. You can park in some of their lots even if you aren't staying there and take their shuttle. Call the hotel yourself. You can get the best rate directly from them.
That's a good point there.
Yeah.
But what about parking at the airport?
Okay, so if you really want to park at the airport, there are some ways to ensure you get a spot. Yes. No, there's just fewer spots, right? Because there's so many people. First, book ahead. A lot of airports are now allowing you to reserve a parking spot.
Yes.
Philadelphia International, get this, is now offering valet parking. If you book in advance, it's $50 a day, $60 if you pull up day of. And they monitor your return flight and have your car waiting for you at the baggage claim when you get back. Wherever you park, don't forget to search for promo codes because you know we like a discount.
Yeah. Waiting at baggage claim.
Waiting at baggage claim. It's a new service they're offering at PHL.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. Eva, thank you.
Play of the day, Kylie Kelsey coming to the rescue some young Eagles fans in Philadelphia. Lara back with the story.
Kelsey family at it again, everybody. Yeah, so if it's always sunny in Philadelphia, then some of that sun comes straight from the Kelsey family. They're at it again this time because a local high school English teacher named Bonnie Giberson realized that many of her students couldn't afford to pay for a planned field trip to Eagle Stadium. So she posted a cry for help on TikTok, and that's when Kylie came to the rescue, calling the school herself and paying the cost of the bus, even arranging so that everything else on the field trip would be covered for every single kid. Here's Bonnie and her excited students on the way to Lincoln Financial Field, where they were given the royal treatment, including walking through the stadium tunnels into the press room. A big highlight was visiting the locker room where they met Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham. He was more than happy to chat with kids, sign autographs. What a good guy. They even got to walk onto the field, see their school name, Penn Treaty up on the big screen. Here's Bonnie, guys, on her students' reaction.
They were all smiles. There were lots of like oohs and ahs, especially going out on the field, meeting BG. And then on our way out, I got like a couple hugs. I got like, thank you, best trip ever, which is just an amazing feeling. So I would just say to Kylie that you really have made this like a week and a year to remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. They will not forget that. Giberson says many of those students will be graduating. So this was a chance to share some priceless memories together during their senior year. Thank you, Kylie.
Yeah, what a great story.
You know, the only thing that went through my head, too, when I watched that is an incredible story.
Don't say something about the Eagles.
No, she's created more Eagles fans.
I knew it was coming, America.
Kylie, come on.
And Larry, you're just channeling them in green this morning, too.
Oh, excuse me. Why?
Fly, Eagle, fly. And Larry, you're coming back with more later.
Yes, of course.
We can't wait. Shopping, last minute deals, and of course, pop news as well. More Lara, more GMA when we come back.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Holiday strikes. 11,000 workers at over 500 Starbucks stores set to walk off the job. This as some Amazon workers strike in the heart of the holiday delivery rush. What it means for workers and customers.
Army of Hope. Supermodel Petra Nemcova's powerful purpose. 20 years after surviving the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami.
That pain, it's with me so strongly every single day.
She sits down with our Diane Sawyer talking about her mission to help victims of natural disasters after most of the world has moved on, including hundreds of families in North Carolina devastated by Hurricane Helene. Her call to action this morning.
Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag.
And everybody's waiting for the man with the cake. Cake boss Buddy Valastro is here. He brought cookies, too. And he's saying,
Good morning, America!
Live in Times Square, this is GMA.
Good morning, America. It is great and always great to have Buddy Valastro here, especially when he brings cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's going to give us some advice to take some of the stress out of your holiday baking. And parents, go get your little ones. We got that big Bluey news we told you about. The movie earlier this week, well, that was just the beginning.
This is a dance mode time for families. Everybody is very, very excited about Bluey. Also ahead, our holiday parenting playbook. This time of year, it can be tough on routines. So what do you need to do about nap time? We have pediatrician and parenting expert Dr. Mona Amin here with expert advice on that and more.
That is coming up. First look at the top stories breaking today. We start with the 2 holiday strikes at 2 of the best known companies in the country. Some workers are walking out at Starbucks this morning. Amazon workers on the picket lines at some facilities as well. I want to go back to Trevor Alt with the latest on both. Good morning, Trevor.
Hey, good morning again, George. So we're in the middle of kind of a tense moment here. We have the picketers, at least 50 delivery drivers who are on strike with Amazon, and they're essentially negotiating with the NYPD. We've been watching some Amazon vehicles that have been coming and going. The NYPD is threatening to arrest them for disorderly conduct if they continue to block the pathway of some of those vans. So the picketers have been periodically pausing to let them through while still trying to slow those delivery vehicles down. Now, a lot of these drivers have joined the Teamsters Union. They want to negotiate with Amazon for better wages, better working conditions. The issue is Amazon does not recognize the Teamsters as a union that represents their employees, and they refuse to negotiate. Now, Amazon also says their delivery schedule has not been disrupted, and all their customers can still count on their packages to arrive on time. That these picketers think they can cause major issues at a crucial time for deliveries. And as you mentioned, this is not the only strike from a gigantic company that is happening today. Unionized baristas, 11,000 of them, are prepared to go on strike later today. This will likely begin with a few selection of stores, and then it could grow on the coming days. But we are looking at 2 pretty significant movements from gigantic companies of workers gathering, unionizing together to try to cause disruptions during this holiday stretch, guys.
Yeah, significant moves right around the holidays. Thank you so much for that, Trevor. And with just 5 days left to shop before Christmas and Hanukkah, if you're worried about potential delays, Larry, have a look at some of the best last-minute deals if you want to shop in person.
Exactly. So, guys, if you are still looking for gifts, there are still some great deals out there. Walmart has deep discounts on hundreds of items like the NutriBullet blender combo for $49. That is almost 60% off the regular price of $119. That's a great gift. And then for the kiddos, Target is offering up 40% off select Squishmallows. Is it Squishmallows? And those, I hear from Kelly Hagan, the producer, are very popular with the kiddos.
We have a big orange one at home. Yes,
okay,
they're
so
very
that's
popular.
So guys, there you go. I'm just letting you know. If you spend $40 on beauty and health, Target Circle members will get a $10 gift card. That's a nice little stocking stuffer. And then over at Home Depot, you can save up to 35% on appliances like this GE 4-burner electric range, now $598, down from $899. But I'm being serious. You do not want to put off your shopping any longer. We have been telling you, and now we really mean it. Many stores, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, will be closed. Did you hear me? They will be closed on Christmas Day. Some will close earlier than usual on Christmas Eve. Walmart, for example, shutting its doors at 6 p.m. across the nation on Christmas Eve. That is 5 hours earlier than its typical 11 p.m. close. I'm going to give you another option for getting your gifts in time because I really want to try to help you, including buying online and picking up in store. In fact, you can order online, pick up same day in Target stores through 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve if you really want to push it.
Those are all great deals, and if you really want to push it, say, honey, I bought you a range for Christmas.
Yeah.
Wonder how that would work out.
I got a great deal.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
It's a great gift. Come on.
Coming up in our GMA morning menu, supermodel Petra Nenkova's mission working to help other victims of natural disasters. Well, she sat down with Diane Sawyer.
Also ahead, our holiday parenting playbook, how to manage screen time with the kids who are home from school.
And we're back in Philadelphia this morning. Ike is taking support of the special holiday train, transporting passengers to a winter holiday wonderland.
Plus, gifts and sweets. What more could you ask for around the holidays? Lori B has got the right stuff, baby. She's got our gift guide. Buddy Vlastro is also here helping us out with our holiday baking. He's solving some of the most common problems in the kitchen. All of that coming up on Good Morning America. Stay with us.
We are back now with our GMA cover story, our holiday parenting playbook. 'Tis the season for overindulgence and overscheduling. Pediatrician and parenting expert Dr. Mona Amin is here with some tips on keeping everyone healthy and happy during the holidays. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
You are also a mom of a 5-year-old and an 18-month-old, so your hands are full. A lot of parents at this time of year, we default to screen time because everything is so chaotic, but you say don't do that.
Well, it's going to be a reality that screens are going to be a part of our life, especially during the holidays, but balance it and set expectations with your child. It's really important to remember that the holidays are about social gatherings, so rather than having your child on an iPad, maybe do a holiday movie together and talk about those characters to make it a social experience. And also maintain screen-free zones, so try to minimize screens at the dining table or during certain social gatherings so that the children can enjoy the social experience.
I love the idea of having something together to experience together. We're getting great questions from our viewers. This is one from Michelle.
When the whole family's together having fun, it's impossible to get my toddler to take a nap. Should we skip it altogether or try for an earlier one?
What are we doing here?
So I think every toddler parent can understand that their child has FOMO, a fear of missing out. Everything is so exciting. So recognize that. Do a mini bedtime routine during their nap. So get in the bedroom 15 minutes before, make it dim, make it cool, talk to them, sing to them. And if they don't take the nap, which is a reality because everything's exciting, try to move the bedtime earlier so they're not dealing with an overtired situation. And then the next day, try to get back on schedule so that we can balance fun and also sleep needs.
So try to go back the next day. That's really important. Advice.
Yeah.
Karen has this question.
How can I help my 5-year-old develop healthy self-control around sweets?
Yes. At the sweet table, you just see the kids picking every cookie off the table.
And this is important not just for the holidays, but year round, right? So the first thing is don't vilify sweets. They're a part of our life.
Yes.
And when we do that, it can lead to feeling out of control when there's actually access. So balance it, pair it with other nutrient-rich foods, like protein-rich foods and fiber, so that we're encouraging that balance, and moderate and practice that moderation as well in front of them. And also, don't vilify it, and also encourage them to explore different things. If they are reaching for that sugary cookie, the fourth one, say, hey, we can have it with dinner later, or we can have it tomorrow, so that we're not using judgment towards those sweets. And the last thing is don't bribe them with sweets. Don't say, eat the broccoli and then you'll get a sweet. Don't call it a treat or a surprise. Call it a cookie, pair it with another favorite meal, and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. Great advice. And by the way, I spoke with parents.com about parenting around the holidays and how to handle burnout. You can find out more about that on their website. They did such a nice job. Michael?
All right, thank you, Rebecca. And now to supermodel Petra Nemcova's mission. After surviving the deadly tsunami that struck countries throughout Southeast Asia 20 years ago, she turned that pain into purpose, vowing to help victims of natural disasters after most of the world had moved on. She sat down with our Diane Sawyer to talk about putting that experience into action in her life now.
You've seen her face, that beautiful woman on the cover of magazines, the world-renowned supermodel Petra Nemcova, also a woman with a powerful purpose, turning a horror she experienced into hope for other people. 20 years ago, she was a 25-year-old on a dream vacation in Thailand with the boyfriend she loved. Then, the historic and deadly tsunami savaged Southeast Asia. The monstrous wall of water, steel and metal, carried her boyfriend Simon Attlee to his death as he called out her name. Somehow, she managed to grab onto the top of a palm tree, and she held on for nearly 8 hours in searing pain from all her broken bones.
I think in everyone's life, in some point, you know, there's a tragedy. In some way, the tragedy gives us an opportunity to put a meaning into our life.
That was Petra Nemcova when I first met her 20 years ago. This is Petra today.
I feel like everything changed. My personal life, my professional life, my values, my purpose in life.
But even as she healed, she kept reliving the screams of the children propelled by that water just out of reach.
Children trying to scream for help. I couldn't go and swim to them or try to help them because I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't do anything. That pain, it's with me so strongly every single day. That day of a tsunami, I didn't have a choice to help children, but today and every day I have a choice, and that keeps moving me every day, and we all have a choice every day.
And that's why 2 decades ago she had an idea. She would use her own money and time to try to build an army of volunteers to keep helping the victims of natural disasters long after the world's attention has moved on.
The 2-3 months after natural disasters, it's usually the time when also different organizations leave. The depression goes deeper, and that's when many suicides happen. And if there's no more support from organizations, you're like, how I ever gonna rebuild my life?
And today, her idea has become a global nonprofit now called All Hands and Hearts. Through the years, 68,000 volunteers deploying in the aftermath of tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, all around the world, rebuilding schools and homes. Almost 2 months ago, Hurricane Helene smashed into the mountains of North Carolina.
In Helene, we were there day 2, and we made commitment to stay for 1 year.
For 1 year, there will be those people in purple shirts, the healing sight of All Hands and Hearts. Kind strangers who have come to help and to stay.
Hi, Robin.
Robin Young is an experienced contractor supervising the volunteers.
This is incredible, the destruction here. So high was the debris here.
At least 30 feet tall. Trees, cars, houses. Across the street, there was a cabin wrapped around that tree over there.
They plan to help 500 families in North Carolina. Families like Maggie and Craig Chamberlain. Their home before the hurricane, now still standing but gutted by mud and water.
But we were not in a flood zone here, hence that's why we didn't have flood insurance.
Most homes here don't have flood insurance at all. You would never expect flooding happening here in such a mountainous areas.
The volunteers in purple shirts have arrived to help Maggie clear out the wreckage of her home, the black mold, the debris, the despair.
bedroom, it was actually like a little mini hospital in here because my husband has been on hospice for, I guess, about 8 months. He was comfortable here.
With Helene happening, this is, you're fighting two big fights.
Two big ones, yeah.
This morning, they're calling on everyone watching to join their army of hope.
In the new year, we will need lots of volunteers, lots of support, so come and join us. And we have an incredibly experienced staff. You don't need any skills.
Jessica Thompson is the CEO of All Hands and Hearts.
Right now, we are responding to Hurricanes Helene and Milton in North Carolina and Florida. We still have work in Maui, Hawaii for the wildfires. And we also have school construction projects in Mexico, Nepal, and the Philippines.
There's still a lot more to do.
And among the volunteers at Petra's side, there to help, are the family of someone she loved, someone who was lost in the tsunami 20 years ago. Photographer Simon Attlee.
Simon's family became my family, and Simon's friends became my friends. I'm so grateful for them because they embraced me with so much love.
And embraced her own new family. In 2019, Petra married entrepreneur Benjamin Laretch. They now have a son, Bodhi.
And I have a son. And I have a beautiful husband. And there's so many blessings to be grateful for, yes. I was lucky because I met another twin flame. And Ben is my twin flame, and he's an incredible soul. And I just feel so lucky because I didn't know it was going to happen, and they're my two loves, of Ben and Bodhi, and just bring lots of sunshine. And Bodhi means enlightenment.
And so next week, when we all look back at the 20th anniversary of the tsunami, remember Petra Nemcova and her volunteers, who will be lighting candles not to remember the darkness, but to believe in the power of light.
And we will invite everybody to join us to light a candle, to bring more light to the world.
And Petra's definitely made her pain her purpose and is bringing a lot of light to the world indeed. And our friends at National Geographic also recently released a series documenting the events of that day. Tsunami, Race Against Time is available on Disney+.
Now to the latest Bluey news. Evie, you kept the second secret all week.
No, they only told me just recently. I told you earlier this week there was big Bluey news. And now I finally know the new Bluey news. It's huge. That little Bluey on your screen is about to be your friend in real life, too.
For real life?
Yes, for real life. Now you can meet Bluey in person. Disney announcing the Healer family will make its real-life debut at its U.S. parks.
Ready? Yeah!
The preschool show that follows the life and adventures of Bluey, her mom Chili, her dad Bandit, and her little sister Bingo is a global sensation. It's been a big week for little Bluey.
I'm ready for movies.
Disney and the BBC announcing just days ago the first animated Bluey movie.
One popcorn, please.
Sure.
That's expected out in 2027.
Nice one, Bluey.
But you can meet and have fun with Bluey in person before that. Bluey and her sister Bingo will make their debut on Disney cruises out of Australia and New Zealand starting next month. As for how the Healer family will appear at Disneyland and Disney World, that will be revealed soon.
Whoa. So much more to look forward to, and there is something truly magical when you get to watch your child meet their heroes. Ella got to meet them when they were here in studio. She is obsessed. She asks me at least once a week if she can go see Bluey. We call her Big Bluey, and now I have to tell her, actually, yes.
Guys, with a big smile, big Christmas present. Thank you, Eva. There, how about some pop news?
All right, let's do it, George. Good morning, everybody. We're going to begin this Friday Pop with a feel-good new song for you. This is an exclusive look at a new song from the movie Mufasa: The Lion King, which opens today. This is written by the one and only Lin-Manuel Miranda, so you know it's going to be good. Check this out.
Tell me it's you, I know it's you.
What do I
I say? Where do I go? How do I know you feel the same?
Tell me it's you, I know it's you.
Quiet and low, letting it go, letting you know it's in me. Everywhere that I roam, I remind myself not to overstay. Every time I find home, something happens to take that home away.
Is it wrong that I think they're real? I can't help it. They're so, it's just so
It's
lovely.
such a nice love song.
And that song is fabulous. It's called Tell Me It's You, performed by Aaron Pierre and Tiffany Boone in their roles as Mufasa and Sarabi. Aaron was just here earlier this week. He said taking on the same role that was originated by the legendary James Earl Jones was a life-changing experience. And Lin-Manuel said this song is like a joy bomb. It was like a joy bomb to write and a joy bomb to hear. You can see an extended version of that clip from Mufasa the Lion King on our website. You just scan that little QR code right there on your screen. Mufasa the Lion King in theaters nationwide starting today.
Ooh, big day.
Yeah, I'm
Big
really
day.
excited to see the whole movie. All right, now all aboard for one special Pennsylvania train that's making express stops to the North Pole just in time, since we're just 5 days away from Christmas. Thank goodness Ike Kajache is there. He's in New Hope, Pennsylvania, on Santa's North Pole Express with some festive guests. Ike, you look very festive yourself.
You know, I have to dress the part, Larry, and I gotta say something. You can't have a North Pole Express without Santa and Mrs. Claus on board, as well as all these wonderful people. How are we doing, guys? There we go. Now get this, a train has been on this line since 1891. 133 years ago, it was used to transport goods and passengers all throughout Bucks County, and now the line has been transformed into this holiday attraction. Now listen, this train this winter is being used as Pennsylvania's express train to the North Pole. And as you can see right now, it's been completely transformed with all these holiday decorations. Obviously, Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus here. There's a winter wonderland right outside in Bucks County. And of course, all of these wonderful sweet treats and hot chocolate that we have for everybody on board. Now, I want to say this. Michael, I know you've been a little upset, a little FOMO that you haven't been able to enjoy all of the sweet treats that I've been doing. So how about this? We brought some hot coffee and hot chocolate for all you guys back in the studio. All of us, cheers, Michael Strahan.
Cheers. Way to step it up and come through. We appreciate you.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
Oh, the holidays, if we haven't told you, they're just 5 days away. Laura Bergamotto is here with the Right Stuff Ultimate Gift Guide. This morning, you've got the best of the best. We're going to start with the robes.
Yes.
And this one is all about everyday luxury. But you have the best of the best. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Well, we know that people, we're in the crunch zone right now, right?
Yeah.
And people keep going to the same 5 to 10 gifts. So we've curated what in those categories are the best. And you guys, everybody loves robes as a go-to gift. But this one, it's the right stuff. So we have to elevate everything. This one is from Brooklyn, and isn't that so soft? It feels like a baby blanket because we can't feel that at home. But it's 100% Turkish cotton. And one of the reasons that these rate so well and get so well reviewed is because they maintain that softness. You just want to make sure you're going to wash it cold and tumble dry it low. And Brooklyn itself is a Right Stuff Hall of Fame brand. Everything they churn out, we love, you guys love. So it is really a daily dose of luxury that you can feel good about gifting and that the gift recipient will absolutely go wild for.
And I love it, Brooklinen.
Brooklinen. There you go.
All right, and which I love candles too. What makes these candles special?
Okay, so candles are tricky. 64% of people confirm that is a go-to gift for them, that they've given a candle. But you like a certain scent, I like a certain scent, it might not be the same one. Yep. Well, you guys, we have found the one universally appealing scent. Really? Yes, this is from Anthropologie. It is their Capri Blue. This is a bestseller for them. If ever you've walked into an Anthropologie and you get that scent, you're like, oh my gosh, what does that smell like? It smells so good. It's tropical fruits, it's sugared candies, and it's just a hint of exotic mountain green, so it doesn't get too sweet and cloying, so it can be masculine or feminine. It comes in a bunch bunch of different vessels, as you can see here, and different sizes. And that is key, you guys, because they start at just $20, and then they go up from there upwards, to around $180 over two. Depending on who you're gifting to, this is so easy, one-stop shopping at Anthropologie.
There we go. I love the candle. And
Yes.
photos are a lifelong gift.
Exactly.
But these are interactive.
That's right. This one is like a community gift. I love this. This is the Aura frame. It's interactive. So yes, we set this one up for our GMA family. What's really cool about this, Michael, is, frames are memory keepers, but then it's just that one picture all the time. This one, all you do is the app is so easy. It couldn't be more user-friendly. And what you're able to do is upload pictures constantly, and you can change them. This is a great gift for parents, grandparents to chip in on, the kids to chip in on, and no matter where the children or grandchildren live, you can just upload it. They're getting new pictures constantly, the Aura, and it looks so good too. It's like very chic. I
love that. And then we got these coffee mugs, but they're more than just for coffee or tea.
They really are. Okay, so the sales of mugs go up by 50% during the holidays, and that's because it's just like an easy basic to give someone. But today is all about better basics. So this one is from Uncommon Goods. Now, the difference here is that each one of these mugs comes with a QR code. So we have a book lover's mug, a sports fanatic mug. This is the dad joke mug.
I love a good
so
dad
we
joke.
actually scan the QR code for you. Michael, if you'll do us the pleasure of reading that.
Dad joke of the day. You want to hear a joke about procrastination? I'll tell you later.
Gotcha. So you get 365 days of those dad jokes, of those baseball stats or book lovers. This is such a fun gift. It's under $30. You can find it at Uncommon Goods. The gift that keeps on giving, and another gift that keeps on giving.
This is great for everybody who works here.
Yes, so 79% of Americans drink coffee, so this is a great one to give. 100% of GMA staffers, I think, drink coffee. This is from the Cometeer. What's different about this is that you don't need to know what kind of machine your gift recipient has, what kind of coffee machine, because what they do that's so brilliant is they brew the coffee fresh and then flash freeze it in these little pucks. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take it out, you're gonna pop it in, here we go, pop out, and then you get some hot water, you're gonna pour it in. Michael, we made you a cup there. You can do this, you can make iced lattes, you can make just a regular cup of coffee and you just stir, stir, stir. This comes from all of the best breweries, coffee breweries around the country. It's really good, you guys. It tastes really fresh. And all of these have like special deals, so you can get them in time. You want to order it today and save a little money and give a good gift.
And Gary told me he stirred this with his finger. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. Thank you, bud. Lori, thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays, my friend.
dear.
The wait is finally almost over. Finally and almost. It's been more than 3 years since Squid Game premiered. Now season 2 is set to arrive for the holidays. Juju sat down with the cast and the creator. A lot of people jealous of this assignment.
Absolutely. This trio, they are a dazzling set of creatives. They absolutely are. And Squid Game became the most watched Netflix series in 94 countries. It is an absolute juggernaut that defies description. It's artistic. It's sadistic. It's a super dark, and I mean super dark social commentary. And yet you're standing up rooting for the good guys. And guess what, season 2, guys, buckle up.
It's back. After an agonizing 3-year wait, Squid Game is returning with a vengeance. A lot has changed since the Korean language thriller became a worldwide phenomenon. Netflix's most popular show of all time, spawning a reality competition and a traveling pop-up experience where fans can come try their luck at games inspired by the show.
Does it surprise you that there's a reality show and that people want to come and play these games?
스퀴드 게임 세계 안에서랑 다르게 여기서는 최소한 게임에 진다고 죽을 일은 없기 때문에 좀 마음 편히 와서 즐기실 수 있는 것 같아요.
The show's creator and stars sworn to secrecy, but what we do know is season 2 picks up with our hero, Gi-yeon, played by Lee Jung-jae, now a multi-million-dollar winner, obsessed with stopping the games.
저런 불의를 보고 계속해서 못 본 척하는 것이 시즌 2에서는 게임을 멈추게 하고 그다음에 그 게임을 만든 사람들을 처벌해야 되겠다라는 어떤 그런 복수심으로 이제 시작이 되는 것 같습니다.
You're the ultimate good guy.
His nemesis, the mysterious frontman, played by action star Lee Byung-hun, who shocked Korean audiences when his face was revealed beneath the mask in season 1.
You will see his backstories and even you can see his real character. You will know everything about frontman.
The brutally violent show comes from the mind of director Hwang Dong-hyuk, who famously toiled for more than a decade before Netflix bought his idea.
When we spoke last time, you told me that you lost a half dozen teeth. Did you pay with your body in a similar way in season 2?
I think I lost like at least a few years of my life expectancy.
Playing an evil character, what is that like as an actor to portray that?
너무나 많은 머릿속에 질문들이 있어서 감독님이 이빨이 빠진 거, 이빨이 지금 2개가 불편하다고 하시는데 아마 그 중에 하나 정도는 아마 나 때문이 아닐까 생각이 될 정도로 질문을 많이 해가면서 이번에 이제 연기를 했어요.
The pain may have been worth it. Season 2 already nominated for a Golden Globe Award.
배우분들이랑 그런 얘기도 많이 하고 실제 내가 저런 상황에 놓인다면 어떤 선택을 할까에 대한 이야기도 하고.
This season features chilling new games and a new cast of doomed contestants meant to reflect real-world conflict and current events.
이번에 제가 OX로 양쪽 진영에 나뉘어서 게임이 끝나고 투표를 한 후에 가슴에 붙이고 그것으로 서로를 적대시하고 그것이 실제로 저는 현실에서 많이 이미 일어났던 일이라고 생각하고 앞으로도 일어날 일이라고 생각을 해요.
What's next for you? Please tell me romantic comedy.
Not really. My next one is actually more darker.
What?
More cruel. And more violent.
You can't get more cruel or violent. That's impossible.
It will be the darkest one of my whole work.
기가 막혀요, 진짜. 어떻게...
My goodness.
Seriously, right? Honestly, people don't just like Squid Games, though. They're obsessed with it. And remember, it's based on director Hwang's own down-and-out struggles when he was living with his mom and in debt. And yet it feels like an art house film when you're watching. And yet there's nothing like watching desperate people making moral life and death decisions that, you know, makes the hair on the back of your head stand up.
And your teeth fall out.
Yeah, exactly. And it really makes you think, though. But you know what, guys? Season 2 of Squid Game begins streaming next week, December 26th.
I know where my kids will be.
Yeah. Let the binging begin.
All right, thanks, Jude.
I am here now with Jennifer Lynn Barnes, the #1 New York Times bestselling author behind the Inheritance Game series. It's sold over 4 million copies. Her latest novel, The Grandest Game, is our GMA YA Book Club pick for December. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Tell us about The Grandest Game.
So The Grandest Game is about a teenage heiress who holds a yearly competition full of puzzles and riddles and codes where the players have the chance to win a multi-million-dollar prize. So this year, 7 players are whisked away to a private island for the game of a lifetime. The book is basically like an escape room in book form.
Oh, wow. And it's different from what you've written before.
It is different in some ways. I think for me, the most different thing about the writing process was just how explicitly I wrote this book to be an escape for me and for readers. So yes, it's full of the puzzles and the riddles and the codes, but you've also got an elaborate mansion on this private island, cliffside encounters, the ocean at nighttime, you know, a masquerade ball, romantic tension between these rivals for the prize, and it was just so much fun to write.
Do you experience the escape while you're writing it?
I do. You know, I'm a mom to 3 small children, and so my normal life is nothing like the life of the book, so it's nice to be able to escape into it.
That's great. Let's get some questions from your fans. First person wants to know, who's been your favorite POV character to write in The Grandest Game?
So in The Grandest Game, my favorite point of view character is Gigi. She is my sunshine character who's kind of just this random ball of big-hearted chaos. And I think the reason she's my favorite character to write is, one, she's very funny and fun, but also she's a character that other people tend to underestimate. And I always love writing characters, particularly female characters, where being underestimated is almost their superpower.
Oh, that's terrific. Next person wants to know how many journals you went through while making the series.
I would say for the entire series, at least 25. I'm never happier as a writer than when I am brainstorming and just kind of floating in a sea of possibilities, saying, what about this? What if this? What if this?
So do you get that all done before you sit down to write?
Yes, so I don't sit down with an outline, but I sit down with probably 1.5 full journals where I've just brainstormed all these possibilities, lived in the what if, gotten to know the characters. And so by the time I start, I have a pretty good idea of things that might not even appear on the page, and I've just gotten myself really excited about the book.
What are you excited about next?
Oh, well, right now I am putting the finishing polishes on Glorious Rivals, which is the sequel to Grandest Game. And kind of my rule of thumb as a series writer is that with each book, the world gets bigger, the stakes get higher, and the relationships get more complicated. So that's been really fun.
Thank you. Grandest Game is available now. You can shop this book by scanning the QR code right there on your screen. And coming up, Cake Boss Buddy Velastro here to help take the stress out of your holiday baking. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I can see the sign out there for our next guest because he has a store right next door. And back now with our jolly holiday countdown. The holiday baking season is in full swing, and there are bound to be problems, of course. So we brought in one of the best bakers that we know, Buddy Velastro, the host of Buddy's Holiday Recipe Rumble. And this morning, he's answering your last-minute baking questions. You know, we all try to have a stress-free holiday, and welcome to the show, by the way. On a stress-free holiday, but baking mistakes happen. I'm sure people hit you up about this all the time. What are the two biggest ones you always hear about, and how can you avoid the mistakes?
All right, so great question. Baking is a science. When you get a chef, they can put a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, but when you bake, you have to measure. If it says 1 egg, you can't add 2. You gotta weigh it, it's a science, you gotta be precise. Sometimes like you have a batter here that's a little bit thicker. Okay, now not always, but you can add just a little bit of milk, okay? And try to loosen it, or maybe an egg yolk, or if it's too loose, maybe a little flour.
Oh,
so everything comes down to that.
All right, I like that.
All right, so that's a pretty easy tip. Baking, measure, and weigh, always.
Baking, measure, and weigh. You got to be precise when you come to baking.
It's a science.
All right, so we have viewers who sent their dilemmas, their questions. Our first one is from Laura, so let's check it out.
Hi buddy, what can you do if your cake cracks or breaks when you take it out of the pan? Do you have to start over?
Well, I get that a lot, okay, and my kids are usually the ones that want to dump the cake too hot and then it'll break, like we got here. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little bit of buttercream, we're gonna kind of squeeze it inside, okay, we're gonna squeeze that together. We're gonna go like this, all right, little bada bing, bada boom. Go a little like this, Michael. Spin this around, you know, and then go back and forth with the knife. And then what I always say, this is nature's cover-up. Sprinkles, all right? If you're a bad baker and you make a mistake, cover it in sprinkles, it's gonna look good.
Yeah, there is no starting over.
That's
all
it.
All right, the next question from Tamela. Tamela, what you got?
Hi, buddy. I have a baking dilemma. What if you run out of frosting and icing for your cake and the ingredients to make more? Thanks.
Okay. If you don't have enough items, always maybe a little heavy cream, you could turn it into some whipped cream. If you have a little Nutella in the pantry, if you have a little bit of chocolate syrup. So this is just a little bit of whipped cream that I whipped up, okay? Take that, we'll go like that, like this, Michael, like this. You know,
Larry is over there amazed. I'm amazed too. I ain't
come
gonna lie
on
to you,
now,
buddy.
all right? And then we'll just hit it with a little bit of chocolate sauce here.
You know, our staff is excited because they know they get to eat this when we're done with this segment. Quick and
Not
easy.
bad?
All right.
Okay.
Now we have Helene.
All right, Helene. Let's do it.
Hi, buddy. Help! My cookies are dark on the bottom and not cooked in the middle. What am I doing wrong? Any way to keep them and not throw them out?
Okay, so that's a cardinal sin. When baking chocolate chips, always middle rack, bake them a little bit lower, and take them out. They're gonna look raw because they're gonna still continue to cook on the pan. But like, let's take this pie here. You have a pie here that you burnt, okay?
Yep.
I try to scoop out the filling in the middle, and then we'll make it into like a parfait, okay? You try to like, don't use the burntest parts, or the same thing with the cookie, right? So we'll take off the edges. This guy went maybe a little too much, you know what I'm saying, Michael? But, you know, and then you just kind of like crumble it in, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a parfait.
We got it. We're done. But no, buddy, real quick, we only have a few seconds. But there are some people who don't have time to bake at home, but you have some things to help them.
Yep. So we have these new DIY kits that is a reindeer and a snowman. You get the cake base, the fondant, and a video instruction on how to turn a regular cake into that. So go to Carlo's Bakery, check it out. Yeah.
CarlosBakery.com and check it out. Buddy, you're the best, man.
Oh, we love you guys.
You can see Buddy's holiday recipe rumble. That's his show. It's
On
streaming
Hulu.
now on Hulu. That's right.
That's it.
You guys stay there. We'll be right back. All right, enjoy.
All right. What are you doing?
Hi, this is so good.
Run on in here. There we go.
Clara makes
I
it
can't
just
really
in
run.
time. Thank you all for watching.
Yes, have a great weekend, everybody.
Delicious.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.